was people on every part of the planet there. So
Cool.
yeah, awesome.
Lots of good stuff happening despite all the.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. There's good stuff happening, and it's my weakness is that I like to rail and criticize. I'm just generally a judgmental person, and like I kind of get myself in trouble, especially on YouTube or on X rather, because people are caught talking about how bad things are, and I'm like, yeah, like especially with the repopulation program and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, things are this bad. Like this is the natural progression, and I start poking a little bit too much. Like I get so mad. It's like if you don't like this, then maybe you could do something other than what you've been doing for the last 100 years to prevent it from continuing. And trying to be as I it I do want to be more loving, but I am extremely condescending. And it's because I'm kind of past the point of being able to help people at the beginning stages.
Yeah, I mean, and really, like the anger that comes up, that's a wonderful catalyst, right, for people to change. And so when you're talking to people and they're getting angry about these things, and like that's not a bad thing, right? I don't think
No,
so.
it's not my role. That I'm realizing, and I
Mm.
actually, well, we all of us need to find someone who we admire as a coach that can teach us how to become what it is that what we admire about them. And a friend of mine I've known for quite some time. His name is Noah. He's from Canada, but now lives in Portugal with his family. And he said it perfectly. He said, "Paul, you can't be the one to try to make people feel better about making a new country. It's not your job. Your job is to make them feel really, really, really uncomfortable. And if they like what you have to say in their discomfort, they are the people that you need most. If they're so uncomfortable that they just move on, well, just move on like them.
Yeah.
Don't let them occupy your mind. And that's been my weakness, is that I get so focused on how many people don't pay attention to what I have
Mhm.
to say. I focus on so many times of like 2021, 2022, between the
It's
vaccine
frustrating.
mandates and the online, like all the touring that I did around Western Canada. It like you tell people what the solution to this is,
Yeah.
and immediately afterwards they think about, oh well, except I have to show up for work tomorrow at 6:30, right?
I think so many of us went through that, right?
Yeah,
Like, we wanna help, we wanna show people the way to make things better, but if they're not ready to take those steps, it's right? It's like, "It's
mm-hmm,
right there," but
mm-hmm.
you can't do it for them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And to even sit there, and this I think is the biggest aha moment that I've had for 2024. When I sit there and I judge them as holding me back, I've now become a slave again
Yep. You're giving your power away to those people.
to the slaves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
But it's very easy to do. You get caught up in that. I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
our own programming, right? So
Right. Well, especially once you set your life up into such a way that the slavery thing doesn't really apply to you anymore, that also like shifts the brain, and then you're there amongst all the slaves on the field, just being like, guys, let's go jump the fence. And they're like, no, no, I can't do that.
yeah.
I've got to carry my wheat. you know, that's the that's the funny part, is that the analogy is just so similar. And the trick is to just be present with the slaves.
It's hard.
Yeah,
I
it
find that
is.
hard. I
And
find it hard
again,
to relate.
that's the trick if you want to help them feel
I
better,
know.
right?
Yeah.
That's not my role. And that's what I have to realize, is that my role is actually to make people feel really uncomfortable, literally to interrupt their lives. I'm here to be a life interruption for a lot of people. And that means I must be very gentle in how I do it, so that the people that are attracted to that feeling uncomfortable, knowing there must be something that they can do, and then being inspired to take action, I need to be present to them. I can't be present to my upsetness about people not paying attention.
Right.
Right?
Yep,
It's
totally.
like I go into a room, and I remember this happening so many times. I'd go into a room and I would just feel how judgmental everybody was before I even got started. And no, that was me. I made them judgmental of me before I opened my mouth. That wasn't them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So anyway, onwards and upwards. You know what? We're not going to do the same kind of market analysis as normal. I'm going to go over just the basics, and we can browse through market cap. But let's just talk about what's going on, ask questions, and yeah, the assets themselves. I mean, if there's something you want to check out, let's do it. But I've got 30 things on my list here, and I can never seem to get them done in an hour. So instead of that, I'm just gonna I'll take a look at a few things. You guys take a look at what you want. Let's chat about this bubble, what's happening. I do want to take some time to talk about the instability of this AI bubble and why it's crashing. But let's start with conversation first. How are things? How are people's portfolios?
Yeah, kind of hanging around the same, like,
Hmm.
up and down a little bit, but
Yeah, since you made your purchase, things have
yeah,
been basically sideways, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yep. Yep. Audrey, how are things? Are you happy with your placements?
Yeah,
Yeah. Good stuff.
everything's actually going up for
Yep.
me a lot. Um, I did mine like back in end of October, beginning of November kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of my stuff has gone up in that time because this
Yep.
bubble is going up. Um, yeah, just and then the I just made a trade. So one of my very first ones, I just want to tell people out there, one of my very first ones, um, it was called Trog, and it was a meme, right?
Yep.
And I just, thought, what the heck? I might as well get into it, right? Try it out. And yeah, it tanked, man. It
Oh
tanked.
yeah. It could drop 90%, didn't it?
Yeah, it just,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. Same
Right?
thing happened to me too.
And then it's riding along. And because I'm here watching every day and I go into all my different wallets every day while I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I do. I go into my wallets, I see what's going on. I
Yep.
can trade after or whatever with Paul, right? Because I still don't know the process. So I, get Paul to help. But I'm like, what the heck? Trog is like up 600%.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, selling that stuff right now because I couldn't get it out before because I didn't have enough for the fees and to get it out, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
The amount in the wallet was like $9 or something like that, and it would
yeah,
have been like $20 to move it, and it was like, sorry, you don't have enough trog to make this transaction work. And
That's
then
awesome.
yeah, sure enough, out of nowhere, it actually came back to where I bought in the middle of June.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so because it was down from where you bought it
Oh
when
yeah.
I bought it.
Yeah.
And then it just kept tanking from there. But yeah, so I'm like, I got to get this out
Yeah.
today. And then Paul and I couldn't connect that
Right.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said,
Yeah.
I'm just going to figure it out myself. So I just swapped it. I just swapped it
Nice.
from Trog to the World one.
Yeah. Directly
Um,
without having to go back to Ethereum or anything like that. She
yeah,
just went from one token and swapped it for the other. And so,
Nice.
and did you use Uniswap or did you use MetaMask for that one?
I couldn't use MetaMask. It wasn't working.
Yeah.
So
See,
I had to use
yeah.
Uniswap.
It's weird. I don't know how that occurs. I'm not sure what's going on there. I wish I
Yeah.
did. But it's like MetaMask sometimes won't complete a trade because it talks about how there's no available bids.
Well,
There's
it
there
just
no,
keeps thinking sometimes, and it just
yeah,
kept thinking. So I said,
Hmm.
and then you go
so
to
I went in,
Uniswap and done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was just and so I had, I think it was 70, just over 73. It says Canadian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In there. I can't remember what the trogs were. But anyway, then
Mm-hmm.
I go in and I do the swap and I got 84 world.
Nice. Yeah.
Like 84,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good. Yeah. And
Canadian.
what's world? World is what at? Oh yeah, it sits at 260 right now. Oh yeah, so you did all right there.
I did awesome. I did
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's coming and being consistent,
Right.
right? And like, I mean, this is kind of early in the morning for me, but I've been consistent for months here now. I look forward to coming and learning and stuff like that. So yeah, if anybody out there's once pops in every once and goes, I don't know. You have to be consistent. You
Yep.
have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in your life. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
consistent in your trading and your money, right? And your friendships. That's
Yep.
another thing with this whole, and you talk about it, Paul, about the communities,
Mm.
right? You have to be consistent in your community.
Yes.
No matter what community you're in, if you don't show up and be there, you don't know who else is in there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and who they are and what they do and what they stand for. So, just my 2
Thank you
cents.
so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And related to this, your advocacy is wonderful, and I would love to extend the invitation for you to make some money off of that, off of your endorsements. And so over like today, tomorrow, I'll be finishing up the landing page where people can actually become a part of Next Gen Merchants through an online order form. I'm reconnecting all the Canadian stuff. I'm recognizing that it's wonderful to be ahead of the curve, but yeah, I'm also still very much in development mode in creating an online platform where people can pay me through cryptos. And so, recognizing the timing and the increase of interest, obviously, the little boost in Bitcoin and altcoins, especially over the last few weeks, has garnered some extra interest. And so I want to make sure that as this interest increases, that and as you share, this free session, I want people to come to this. Invite people. Like, let's fill this room right up, bring it to capacity, and in that your invitation of people here would classify them as your referral. And what I'll do is that I'll give you your own unique link to reference people to that sales page, and that way when they purchase, the sale gets attributed to you. And what I'll do then is that I will pay you in cryptos, whatever it is that you like, whatever it is that you want, in the value of 30%. Sorry, yeah, is it 30? 30%. 30% of the revenue goes directly back to you. So you'll be receiving 30% commissions on anybody that comes into Next Gen Merchants. And PS, by the way, that's not just the trading side of things, but that you can share with people everything that you're learning, and whatever you're gaining a lot of value, wherever you are gaining a lot of value, chances are the people in your networks will also gain that value. And so that's who you're sharing this with. And then when they purchase, you get that revenue. And together, what we do with this model is that you start to see how it is that you can build your own business in this fashion. And as you watch this get formed, you're going to notice ways that you can communicate to your local market, whatever it is, the product or service, or whatever it is that you want to, whatever it is that your purpose is. You'll identify ways to communicate your intention to be of service to people and have no problem generating revenue. So yeah, that's my invitation to everybody out there. And yeah, that's
So
I
another
know what I
kind
was
of
going to say.
endorsement,
It's
I might
not
as
just
well.
the AI bubble. We're going to be moving on and learning everything else about this, privatizing your business. You know, making sure that if you have a larger business, if you've got more than 3 employees, you should probably look at getting a constitution for your business as well. You know, take a look at things like the economic charter that I just ran into yesterday. Take a look at that. See if that membership with the economic charter is going to help you in your business. And the membership is going to allow you to ask me questions about this, because as we're going through this, remember, my thing, everything that I'm doing is as scatterbrained as I am. Everything that I'm working on all relates back to the one thing that hit me like a ton of bricks in 2008, and that's this digital ID. I want to make sure that people are equipped so that when that ultimatum is made, because you can bet your boots, the ultimatum is coming. No different than the ultimatum of get a vaccine passport so that you can go to the movies. The ultimatum will be, you need a digital ID in order to buy a coffee with your digital bank, right? Like this, that's where it's headed. And so I want to make it so that when that ultimatum is made, that the local small business can, especially them, they can say no thanks and be confident that they are still able to operate economically, because this is about corralling people into an economic slavery with the digital ID. And we don't need to do that. We none of us need to do it. And that's what Next Gen Merchants, the foundation of Next Gen Merchants is. We are pioneers in this renaissance. And as a result, I know that we have the capacity to take back self-governance over our economics. And as soon as we have that, like obviously the relationship with government is going to be a lot better, because now the economics of our nation is not something that the government can hold against us and weaponize against us. We govern it. They can't do anything with it at that point. That makes them grovel at our feet and stay on their knees in the position they were born to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about this bubble. I want to talk about this because, you know, it's wonderful. We're getting people, a lot of people are wanting to get in, and it's great. I'm so grateful that they're wanting to catch these opportunities. Now, there is, of course, already noticing some sentiment of people saying, oh, well, it looks like it already went up. And they're saying and now I can see it starting to wane and I don't want to get in. Well, I'm going to share with you, I don't know if I kept that meme out or not. Let me just go see. No, I can't find it. But the meme basically showed, you know, the ABCD pattern that I talk about lots. And that ABCD pattern, you know, starting here, A, B, C, and then higher up D. We are right now after B, about halfway between B and C on the first impulse. Okay, if we go back in history, this is key. I'm gonna go. Oh, I didn't share my screen. All right, I'm gonna go back in history a little bit to when Bitcoin. Actually, let's go back to the Bitcoin. We're gonna go back in history to when Bitcoin moved, whenever we did oh, that's the daily chart. Here we go, daily chart. Yay, 2012. We're gonna go back this far. We're just gonna look at the patterns. Remember, market analysis is really about recognizing patterns. If you have a difficult time recognizing patterns, that's okay. You'll get practice as you attend every day. But this is back in 2012, so this is before Cardano, XRP, all that stuff. This line right here, this represents a 6-month mark. So I made a little box, a little rectangle that goes across like this. This rectangle represents the first 6 months after the 2012 election. And we can see just how much of a growth there was. In fact, that growth from here to there was 2,300%. 23 times it went in 6 months. Bitcoin went from $10 to $275 in 10 months. or 6 months rather. Awesome. But then what happened after that? Big drop. Big drop. It looks like, if it didn't have all of this here looked like Trog at the end of June. It dropped so far. In fact, from that high of $270, it dropped 80% of its value. That's huge. Well, when that happened, yes, a lot of money left cryptos. But what happened was that a lot of money went into some of the other coins. We already had things like Ethereum now coming up. We had other ecosystems starting to be born. And so this drop in value was just a bunch of people selling off their profits and then hanging out. And it never came this low again, ever. It never came back to this price. It continued on. And in fact, in the last 2-3 years, there was yet another push. And where, as far as it went here to 275 to 270, what is that, 275, 273, as far as it went here, it did it again 4 times. Remember, this is a logarithmic scale, so this isn't happening linearly, okay? So this is a logarithmic scale. The distance between here, when the 2012 election started, and this peak that happened after 6 months, that distance happened again 4 times. Is that right? This is 3. Yeah, 3 times. 3 times. That's incredible. So, what are we learning about this? This is what we're looking for, is the pattern. There's a big, huge run and then a sell-off. And that sell-off is usually pretty significant. Let's take a look at the 2016. The 2016 has a very similar pattern. However, we can see that in that first 6 months, we actually had a dip here. And it was early. In fact, here's the election, November 5th, 6th or whatever it was, first week in November. And then here, that there dropped from 1100 down to 760. So how much of a drop is that? Well, first off, right after the election, it went up 64% right after the election. And in 60 days. And then it dropped in a matter of 9 days, 33%. And then it continued. Up 70. Down 30. And then, of course, again up. Now, that all happened within 6 months, right? So we have A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. 2 big movements. Well, let's go back. A, B, C, D. It happened across a longer period of time, this big impulse, right? And then the price continued to go up. Well, yeah, well, there's that retracement there. But then it continued to go up. So the pattern, A, B, C, D, occurred over a shorter period of time, much shorter period of time, because in 2016, we had way more assets. XRP, ADA, even Litecoin, Doge. A lot of these coins were being made in this time. And then, of course, here's our 2017 bubble. This is when I put real money in. I was watching it up to this point, or probably started watching the charts around here. 2016-17, that's when I started Forex trading. And then I started watching the Bitcoin charts in this, and then I started watching the Bitcoin charts to get ready to buy, and I did. And we had a small little firm and made some millions of dollars for a bunch of people. It was a lot of fun. And then Quadriga, this is the reason why I'm telling this story. Quadriga was an exchange. And that exchange, no different than any other exchange, that exchange had all the wallets, right? We talk about having the keys. Well, I didn't have any of the keys. This is where my mistake was. See, I was so used to the old way of trading where you've got exchanges. Well, sure enough, there's an exchange and you can take your Bitcoin and you can turn it into, XRP or ADA or, Litecoin, Ethereum, whatever you wanted. But none of those wallets that I had did I have the key. Quadriga had those keys. And all of a sudden one day you couldn't log in. And then about 2 or 3 days later, there was a notice saying that the owner of Quadriga, who had all the keys, died. No more exchange. And they had to freeze everything. And it went on for like 5-6 years. I think there are still updates that they give on that matter. And I didn't, that got passed off into higher levels and higher pay grades than what I was supposed to take care of. But there was the mistake. That was my big blunder. We made tons of money and then we couldn't cash out. It stayed there, still there. As far as I would imagine something came of it, but I never heard anything else of it. You never want to be in a situation where you cannot remove your money, and you want to make sure that if you are using any centralized exchanges where you don't have the keys, that it's not much. Don't keep the majority of your portfolio in centralized exchanges, because any one of them at any time could just be snuffed out. Look what happened to FTX in 2022. Same thing. All of a sudden, nobody could access anything. So, as we're watching these patterns, as we're watching these moves play out, and we're appreciating this great price action, please make sure that you have an exit strategy. Do not wait to build an exit strategy until you need it. Make sure that you have it and that you have it ahead of time, like months ahead of time. My exit strategy right now is I'm going to ride this bubble until I can tell that the institutions are getting ready to trade back. Where they're starting to sell, that's when I'm going to be selling, and probably even just a few weeks before that. And there are markers that we'll be watching for. But the reason why this is a bubble, before I get into the next pattern here, actually no, I'll come back to that. Let's go look at the next pattern. So this movement, A, B, C, D, happens in a shorter period of time now, and then we can get more of them in the bubble, right? Well, that's 2016. And PS, by the way, after all of this, after the 2016 election and the price went up 313%, it continued to go up yet even more. And it went even as high as, like, it was down at 675 at the start of the election. And then at the peak of this run, this huge run that ended December 17th, went up to 19,300. Like, that's huge. That's taking from the price at the beginning to the end. That's a 2,600% return in a matter of 400 days, 417 days. So this pattern here, I believe, is going to be condensed even more. So just like that long ABCD from 2012 all happened in a period of, what is this? 2 months, 3 months? March. So 6 months. Yeah. So that's a quick 6 months right there. It took almost 3 years for this to happen, this kind of growth, this pattern rather, for it to occur in 2012. So it happened in a shorter period of time, and we got more within that 6 month time. And then, of course, onwards throughout that term. Now we go to the next pattern, 2016, which, by the way, after a 1,900% increase, Bitcoin started at 13,000 in 2020. Look at how this played out. push, little tiny retracement, push, retracement, push, retracement, push, a lot more squiggly lines, almost like it plateaued and then dropped, right? So this push, all of this here, that happened in this period of time, this is that first 6 months. This pattern here is, again, condensed from how it was in 2016. And the price never came back. Now we're at 2024, and we're just now starting to see that first pullback. Folks, it's less than a month. It was 21 days, 3 weeks for us to have an A, B, and now a C start to form. So now we're going to talk about why this is going to pop. Oh, before I go on, this movement here, some people are saying, oh, that's it. You know, I don't want to buy because look, the price went down already. They're saying that already. They're not looking at the chart like I am. They're not seeing the chart in this logarithmic scale, right? Everybody that gets started, they don't know anything about that, so they have a linear scale. They don't see this. Okay, they see actually a larger. They actually see a larger retracement than I do. There's the adjustment, so you can see it's a little bit more. So there are tons of gurus out there right now saying, "That's it, folks. That's it. We're done." And there are people believing it, saying, yeah, now I can see that, you know, this is all it's gonna do. There's no way it can keep on going. It can't sustain this. 100,000. And so, you know, in their naivety, they are saying, nah, screw it, I'm not gonna buy. And then the next thing to occur is going to be the next impulse, and they're gonna get upset, and they're gonna get reactionary, and then they're gonna buy. And then what happens is that they because they're reactionary now, they're going to be caught in a loop of buying high and selling low. So if you're just coming in now, please recognize that you are not, like, you're going to buy and you could very well see a drop 20-30% even. Just a heads up. Why? Because when we go back and look at these patterns, that's what happens. Look at this. This goes up right out of the gate, 45%. And then it comes back in 1 day, dropped 16%. Okay, so this kind of thing happens. You have to recognize that if you're just getting started now, you might see a negative balance. I shouldn't say negative. You'll see a drawdown. You'll see it come down. Don't be alarmed. From where we are right now, these alternate coins, you know, we've got tons of assets here that we check out. These alternate coins, look at this. Like ADA, since the election, went up 245% in 19 days. 19 days, 245%. This is expected to happen 5 more times before the end of this run. Okay, so you're not late. You can still get started, but please make sure that you have your exit strategy at least planned. You don't have to have everything in place, but at least have a plan. And if all that plan is right now is to tune in to our morning market analyses, just do that. And while we're going through that, as you're watching the charts and as you're getting feedback from us, folks, if your balance starts to go down, that's normal. Okay. I remember one time I placed a trade. It was over $19,000, and as soon as I traded it, my drawdown was like $8,000 because the market worked against me. Within minutes, it worked against me. Now, did I freak out? Yeah, for sure. But did I respond to that freak out? Did I just do the knee-jerk reaction and just pull out all my money in that lost state? No, I held out, I held on. And as a matter of that, and with that $19,000 trade, I ended up making $5,000 in the long run. And it was because I was patient and I followed my plan. So now we'll talk about why this bubble is going to pop. Technically, shouldn't be having the bubble in the first place. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about. If you take a look at the way computing is right now, the expenses that we are creating in developing faster computers is actually declining. Do you remember, I can't remember the name of it, but there's that figure that's been used for decades where the technology and the speed at which we're able to do computing, that doubles every 18 months. Are you familiar with that? Yeah. Well, that doesn't occur anymore. We're quite distant from doubling every 18 months. In fact, the returns on investment in computing are actually diminishing, and they have been for a while. AI has helped in the sense that tasks, especially writing tasks, dealing with text, these learning language models are doing a great job at being able to minimize the amount of time people spend in front of the screen. That's wonderful. But the thing is that people have been oversold on what AI can accomplish. In fact, they've been sold on its capabilities to such a degree that a lot of people, believing what they hear, are scared of what AI can do. There's a reason for that. The people who are in control of the markets want you to be scared of what AI can do. And what I believe is going to be occurring, again, this is just pattern recognition. If we take even just the last time we had a crisis, which was what? COVID. Big, huge crisis. Deadly disease spreading across the planet. That crisis was used as a means to crash the markets. If we go back, I'm going to go to the US 30 here because this is part of our analyses. So you can see here's the Dow Jones creating new highs all the time. But if we go back to the beginning of 2020, there it is. In fact, the markets fell from their all-time high. Again, Dow Jones was making all-time highs back then too. 29,571 was the all-time high. And then it tanked. And in fact, in here, it tanked so fast, they had to shut down Wall Street. Because if it goes down too fast, they can't control how much money they're making now. Well, they can't control whether or not they're making money. And so they just shut everything down and they reopen once they know that they can make money again while it's going down. So that occurred. Well, they blamed this on COVID. And we, of course, those of us who are on here know full well, and I do risk losing my YouTube channel every day that I talk about this, but this was just fabrication. This crash was supposed to happen. The mathematics would not allow this to continue based on how they were printing. And so in order to make the adjustment, they had to drop things out, completely drop it all out, and they blamed COVID for it. This crash here, I had been calling for 3 years, thinking this is the year. There's no way it can continue. There's no way it can continue. And it was in 2009 when I realized what the Great Reset was. I should say this a bit later. 2008 is when I found out what the digital ID was. It's probably 2013, 2014 is when I really got to know about the reset and that this was going to happen, that they were going to crash the market and then they were just going to inflate it up to create the biggest problem, and that is purchasing power amongst the people, so that the people would scream and cry for a solution to find a different monetary system, something, anything better that works. And so this crash being blamed on COVID, we can take this pattern, and this is not, I mean, the 1929 crash, same thing. It was a false flag. It was a test to see what would happen. Well, this crash is going to occur again. Imagine this is the AI bubble, okay? And it goes up and up, and a little bit of a retracement here, right? Nice big drop. Everybody panics and sells, and then the institutions buy those positions so that they can make more money. That's what we're going to be doing, by the way. And you make more money, and then all of a sudden, bang, drops. How much did it drop in total? 38%. In cryptos, I think this will be 80 to 90%. I think that the bubble will actually deflate itself down to 10% of its top volume, top price. That's what I think. That's speculative, sure. Maybe not with Bitcoin or Ethereum, but certainly with most of the AI coins that we're getting into, they're going to drop 80 to 90% after the bubble. And I believe that the crisis that we're going to start seeing is cyber attack. Before it was COVID. And so then we needed those health measures, remember? Well, this time it'll be a cyber attack. And it'll be AI, it'll be blamed on AI because of how much popularity it's going to gain over the next little while. Even though there will be absolutely zero development in the enhancement of AI between now and then. And the reason why is because computer chips have to be rebuilt. We can't even build computer chips the same way if we expect there to be an improvement or an advancement in our technology. The way we develop computer chips up till today is the limitation that AI is currently experiencing. And so all of the money that's being poured into AI right now is being done so only because people are believing that AI is going, like right now, still very, very, like people don't really know about the bubble, right? They're not going to know about the bubble for another month, the masses, and then they're going to want to join. And then they're going to be moving their money around, and they're not going to have any money after Christmas. But that's okay because they're going to rack up the credit cards and everything. And this money is going to be pouring in to this brand new market. Pouring in. And the reason why the money is going to be pouring in is because they believe that AI is going to be making them rich. And just like what happened with Enron, all of the companies that have been losing money on AI for the last 2 years, which by the way has been, that's exactly how it's been playing out. All of those companies that lost that money, they're going to cash out and pull the rug out from underneath all those people. It's just how it is. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and it sucks. Only if you're one of the dogs getting eaten. This is a zero-sum game, folks. Nobody, the money literally doesn't go anywhere. It just gets traded back and forth between people. That's it. And our job with Trading Titans is to simply help people align themselves with this bubble. That's why I stressed so much about this first call about the exit strategy. You have to have that in place. If you don't have that in place, you will lose pretty much everything. Just putting that out there. And in order to make sure that you have easy access to your exit strategy, you are going to want more than one exchange. I talk about getting an exchange, and we've got some people that have multiples. That's great, because you want, if one of them goes down and you only have the one, and that one goes down, now you're having to spend time getting a new account with another exchange, submitting all your ID, getting your account approved before you can even start making withdrawals. It's usually a 24-hour period on average, from the time that you start to the time that you can actually make a withdrawal, it's 24 hours. Sometimes they're faster, but you don't want to be waiting. Not when you've just simply 10x'd you spent 3 months 10xing your portfolio.
So I
You
have
do
a
not want to be in
question.
a situation to not get out. Yes.
So within that, I guess when I got started, what does that mean that you want to have different portfolio, different, well, all of that? What does that mean? Like, what are kind of the best ones to get into? Where would you start? Right? That kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
for someone listening, is it like new to you?
Yeah.
At this moment, I still feel you're too far ahead of them.
Okay.
Right? So, what would that look like? Where would somebody start even to get the first one, let alone
Yeah.
the second one, right? Like what would be some options, I guess, for someone to do the process?
Great question. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking. So I talk about NDAX. I like NDAX the most, and for exchange. And this is the one that I get people to go to. It's the most user friendly with the most options for purchasing coins. That's and I should add the third one, the lowest fees. I've broken it down and I've got notes on this, and I definitely want to present people how these fees work. Because if you can lower the fees, obviously you're keeping more of your money, right? Well, NDAX is an exchange. You got to put in your ID and all that stuff to get your account approved. They're a regulated exchange, and they will facilitate those transactions for you. So the NDAX is one of them. Another one that some people are using, it's more user friendly, and I haven't seen their what they have available for coins. But here with Wealthsimple, probably the easiest user interface as an exchange, and you can purchase cryptos in here as well. Let's go check out to see what they've got. So 70
You
plus.
could use thing like crypto.com too, and
Yes,
those
crypto.com is
are
another one. That's
those
right.
are the ones that you're talking about, right? Because I've used crypto.com.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Another one is KuCoin. I like KuCoin because with
How do you spell that?
KuCoin.com.
Okay.
So with KuCoin, I like this one for doing leveraged trading. Now, I'm not gonna get people into that. If people want to learn that, they can talk to me privately, and I definitely help out the members. But when we're doing these market analyses here, I'm not going to get into leverage trading because there's a lot higher risk, but there's also a lot greater rewards. And basically what they do is that KuCoin will provide you tiny little short-term loans where you can say, oh, you say you want to put in $1,000 to buy some Bitcoin. Well, KuCoin will actually add $4,000 to your position with a short-term loan. And with that $4,000, you're buying additional volume. So your $1,000 is now buying $5,000 worth of Bitcoin with that short-term loan. When the trade is done, you just pay the fees on that loan for the time that you're holding it. Okay? It's called leveraged trading. You're leveraging your money with a loan to buy more so that you can appreciate the returns of that 5,000 with $1,000. That you can tell as soon as I start talking like that, it's like, whoa, yes. If you can 5x with 1,000 using, say, NDAX, you can easily 20 or 25x with KuCoin because you're leveraging your money instead of just straight up, here's $1,000. I got $1,000 of Bitcoin and it moves up, and now my 20%, now I got 1,200. With leverage trading, that $1,000 acts like $5,000, and that 20% of 5,000 is $1,000. So instead of going up, when the price goes up 20% with a 5x leverage, like what you can get on KuCoin, that 20% translates into 100% profits. So what's the math if you have a coin, say 20x, like Destra is expected to 20x from where it is right now. If you're in leverage trading, 5 times that, that's 100x. I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to teach it. That's a whole other thing. You got to manage your money differently. It's a intense program. Again, happy to do that with the private members. But those are 3 different options for exchanges. And these are going to be that first point. I'm buying with fiat currency and I'm going to an exchange so that I can make some trades. And it looks like, yeah, like crypto or Wealthsimple with 70 plus coins, that's going to be very competitive. In fact, I think it's even more than what let's see here. What does Endax have? Do they list how many? Do they show how many they carry? But they've got SWI. So this is an up and coming. Well, it's not really up and coming. It's been around a while, and I'm finding out that it's a pretty good asset as well. 30 plus digital assets. Okay, so it won't be. Endax will not have as much selection as Wealthsimple. I don't know what Wealthsimple's fees are though. See, with Endax, when you put money in, you got Canadian dollars and you're going to buy yourself some Cardano, for example. When you make that purchase, the fees are only 0.5%. Whereas I know full well that KuCoin is closer to 1.5%. So triple. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your exchanges and moving money around. And remember that any one of these exchanges could literally vanish overnight. And so you want to make sure. I don't have anything held in any exchanges. I don't hold anything in exchanges. If I am, it's for a very short period of time, maybe a day or two. And then I'm moving it on to a wallet, my own or whoever I owe. That's it. So does that help answer what are exchanges and where to make sure that you get some options?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good question. Very good question.
And then the other one would be those wallets, because they take a bit of time to set up too, right? So
Yes.
the different wallets, that you recommend getting, right? Because that's the basis, is you got to exchange it from your denomination of where you're at, whether you're in Canada, US, or whatever.
That's right.
Into the crypto
Mm-hmm.
or the other denomination to be able to trade. But then you also then have to have it in a wallet, right? So then
Yes.
what's the, and I know you have some videos out there as well that kind of go through these a little bit.
Yep.
But just in general on here, where, which ones would you go through, right?
Yeah, thank you. So there are 3 main ones that I use. And again, I switch back and forth depending on what the assets are and depending on what bids are available. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that if there, I shouldn't say bids, quotes. If there are no quotes available, which can happen frequently in MetaMask, as you discovered, you had to go to Uniswap. And so I should put the Uniswap on here too. So Uniswap. So between these 4 are where most of my assets are, especially with trading. See, with my money that I'm holding, my big, like the savings account, where I go to the bank basically, that's in a private realm. That's on Cardano. I'm not. I don't use these wallets to do trading with it or anything like that. I hold it with that wallet. When I'm trading, I use these wallets here. MetaMask is one of them. It's a non-custodial wallet, so it's not on an exchange. So that's advantageous because, like you discovered, with these wallets you can swap without needing to use an exchange. You just got your regular gas fees that come with the network. Solflare is another wallet. This one here is for Solana. So I got this because there's a meme culture out there. And with the Solana wallet, especially since Solana looks like it's going to double, I wanted to make sure that it was a part of my selection, because if I want to quickly make some trades in Solana between different memes, and again, I don't do much, maybe $100, $200 at a time, because I don't really know memes. I think they're hilarious. Some of the stories that I'm hearing are just insane. I mean, there's been an AI that has actually launched a coin on the market. Do you want to hear a funny story? Let me show you. This is a funny story. The name of the coin is Goatius Maximus. There's currently $791 million invested in it. And in fact, I talk about how important it is that the market cap, here, let's move this over. So the market cap right up in here, move it over a little bit more. See, it goes into there. Okay, so the market cap right there. You don't want this to be very far under the fully dilated volume. And the reason for that is because diluted volume. So the reason why is because if there's not enough volume here, when the price goes up, most people are just going to sell because they're just trying to make a quick buck. They don't actually have money in the project. This project, Goatius Maximus, is a meme. It's just a meme. And this meme was created by AI and launched by AI on a decentralized exchange. Okay, this was not created by a human. It's a meme. I don't know how else to describe how crazy that is. But there you have it. Goatius Maximus is number 114 out of the cryptocurrencies listed, as far as it was ranked 114th out of 10,000 active cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap. Almost the top 100. That's how wild it is. So because of how wild it is, I wanted to be ready with Solana, and sure enough, I've made some trades in here. Another wallet, very good. Non-custodial trust. This one here is Trust. You can do swaps in it. You can track your portfolio with it. But again, it's just another wallet that allows you to hold different assets. Now, all of them have, like for instance, MetaMask is limited to which networks it can hold. So Ethereum, I can't even remember the names of all of them because I don't really use the other ones. Here are bridge tokens. Blah, blah, blah. So here are the networks. Ethereum, BNB, Linea, Polygon, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, Base, so on and so forth. So these are just different ecosystems. Most of them are actually Ethereum based. The ERC, you may have seen that ERC20. It's just a term, and the reason why these geeks use that term is because they don't know anything about marketing or how to explain what ERC20 actually means. But it's simply a protocol. It's a protocol for processing transactions that was built for Ethereum. And a lot of these other coins use it as well because it's a crypto protocol using cryptology. So there's MetaMask, Solflare, same idea, but this one only stays within the Solana network. It doesn't go between other networks. Trust has more networks. However, I find it doesn't have as many applications with which it is compatible. That doesn't mean a bad thing when it comes to trading. That's only for if you want to access decentralized apps online, which we'll get into that again another time. And then Uniswap. This one here I find extremely helpful for when I need to make a swap between two coins without needing to turn the coin into Ethereum first and then again from Ethereum into that other coin, which sometimes I've had
Has
to
more
do.
feet.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to do that with MetaMask sometimes, and it's kind of frustrating because you watch, you've got something that's $500, right? You've got a $500 value in this, one of these coins, right? You can pick what token do you want. Well, look, there's a 0x0 or a 1 inch token. Yeah, they've got a lot of the same ones that we've looked at. Let's grab one just as an example. I'm not actually using my my normal wallet. Here's Gala. There's one of the ones we look at. So Gala, and you can switch to another token, right? Let's go and pick. There's Super. So again, I'm not using, this isn't my active wallet, but you can take your Gala and just turn it directly into Super without having to go to Ethereum and having 2 transaction fees. Now you just have 1. So so Uniswap is really good for that. Those are the 4 main wallets that I like to use and maintain my lateral positioning in the market. And the other thing that I like to use, because it's just so helpful, is SwapSpace. I used to use ChangeNow, but ChangeNow has been experiencing some downtime lately, and I'm not interested in having downtime when I'm making my crypto purchases. So what SwapSpace does is it allows you, if you have a limitation being experienced with any of these wallets, you can use this as a backup. And I don't find the fees to be, like, I don't even notice the fees. They're so small compared to what a lot of the other wallets are doing. Now, if you are going into Ethereum, you kind of have those fees anyways. But what I do is that I typically use this to go from my main wallet that doesn't touch exchanges, it stays in the private realm, all that stuff. I'll use this to transfer, say 1,000 ADA into the coin of the wallet where I'm wanting to trade.
Can you become bigger? We're on as well. I can't see that as well.
Oh,
sorry.
Yes, of course. Great. Thank you for reminding me. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. So this is where you can start an exchange in a decentralized exchange. This is not a centralized exchange.
So can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
So with all of these, you have to set up your profile in all of these.
Not with SwapSpace. Nope. SwapSpace is completely, you don't even have to sign in. You can do it right here. You can make a quick exchange without even signing in. If you have an account, now you can do things like saving addresses and that kind of thing, which is helpful if you plan on making more transfers. But if you wanted to make a transfer from one coin into another, it's acting like a swap. Except what's actually happening is it's an exchange. So whereas swapping is just saying, oh, look at this coin and this coin, they're on the same network, let's swap them. Here is when you need to make an exchange where the coin that you have and the coin that you want are on 2 different chains, 2 different networks. So here is an example, ADA going into Ethereum. But I could make it ADA into Solana, for example. If I see that there's an opportunity for me to get for me to grab a meme, I'll throw some ADA into my Solana wallet. And the process is quite simple. It says, okay, well, what's the Solana wallet address? So you paste it. It says, thank you very much. I will be sure to send the 4.12 Solana to that wallet. But before I can do that, I am going to need the ADA. And so you put in the Sol address here and you click next, and the next screen says, thank you so much. We'll send it to that Sol address. But now I need 1,000 ADA, and you send it to this ADA address. And they have, SwapSpace has an ADA address that now has a smart contract attached to it. So that smart contract says that as soon as that 1,000 ADA comes in, we're going to exchange it for some Solana, And then we're going to send it immediately to the Solana wallet that you gave. So this here is like a foolproof way of swapping coins. But you're not really doing a swap because you're switching networks. This is an exchange.
Cool.
Without any ID. You don't have to submit anything. You can do this completely outside. You don't have to sign in or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are like that. Another one that like I said, I've used Change Now. Lately they've been experiencing some downtime. I haven't checked them in about a week. They could very well be running, but it's the same idea. Put in how much you want to move, what you want it to move into, and then click exchange and go through the process. Give them the wallet that you want it to go to, and then send your asset to the wallet they give you. That's the Reader's Digest version.
Perfect. So the other one that is the Lace.
Yes. So Lace is a whole other wallet specifically designed for Cardano. Now, I'm not signed into my my Lace wallet here. Let me go and get into this one.
So that one is your private holding, is what it is.
This one, my Lace wallet is actually not my private holding. My Lace wallet is what I use on my browser. I don't have a whole lot in here because this isn't my big trust. But this one here, let me just think about this for a second. Oh, I've got all my totals. You're never supposed to do that. Sorry, folks. Let's try this again.
What about that, Paul?
No,
I know this isn't rehearsed, of course.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's not that
Ahead
big of a
of
deal.
time.
It's not like that's all I have. That's just what I'm trading. That was my MetaMask wallet. Okay, so here is what it looks like inside Lace. Now Lace is different because this isn't so much about exchanging and swapping. This is simply having ADA available for you. And this particular wallet, Lace, is designed for me to connect with dApps. So what's an example of a dApp? Well, let's go to SundaySwap. So SundaySwap is an exchange. And this open SundaySwap. There we go. So SundaySwap is another swapping platform, but this one is specific for Cardano assets. So in the same way MetaMask is more so geared towards the ERC20 or Ethereum network, SundaySwap would be the equivalent of MetaMask or a Uniswap, but Uniswap again, Ethereum. SundaySwap is the equivalent for ADA. So here it says, do you want to connect a wallet? So I click on Lace and the little checkbox saying I agree to the disclaimer and connect wallet. So now Lace pops up and says, oh, here we've got your wallet address, but we just got a request to connect to this decentralized app. And it says there it is, SundaySwap DEX. Only connect to trusted dApps. Do you know what you're doing here? Yes, I know what I'm doing. Allow this site to see which network the wallet is connected to, see your wallet UTXOs, those are transactions, see your wallet balance, see your wallet different addresses, including reward accounts. Yeah, thank you, no problem. Again, my Lace wallet isn't my full private trust. This Lace wallet is a satellite. So I got my main one, private, and I don't even have the ability to share that screen because it's on a different computer. But then sometimes on that computer, I want to have some liquidity for trading. So I will send from my private wallet, the one that's not, it's connected to the internet, obviously, but it's not connected to anything streaming or anything like that. It's on a separate device. I'll send from my private trust to this Lace wallet so that when I click authorize and I say, yeah, go for it, And of course, I don't have sufficient funds in this particular. That's fine. Yep. I'm not making a trade anyway. Oh, it's saying I have to. Okay. Well, then it's just gonna be going to the other wallet. Bummer. So I have to have a minimum balance in here. I'm going to. How come I can't cancel that?
Get out of the
Yeah, I just have
app.
to get out of this. Get out of the Sunday swap. Okay. So I'm not going to go through more of that. That's the process. So these wallets that I keep talking about, that I am showing you, these wallets here, they are simply for my browser to interact with web apps. This
But
another one
these are the
here.
ones that you have keys to, right? Like
That's
MetaMask,
right. I
the
have
Uniswap,
keys for
the
all of
links,
these. That's
and
right.
you're the only one that has the key, or the
That's right.
person like myself. I would be the only, not the person, because that's not a good word. The individual, like
That's
myself,
right.
this woman would have the keys, and I'm the only one.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm
Absolutely.
getting at is when you say, you got to hold the key, you're the one that you're the one that should be able to get your money out,
Mm-hmm.
right? If me, I don't have those keys, then I can't get my money out, and you have my keys. It is like that's the point, right?
That's right. And
It's
there's that saying, possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
Mhm,
Whoever possesses the keys possesses the account.
mhm. So
Yeah.
that's what I guess what I'm getting at with this trading is that's where you got to start. Is you got to start getting your finances in your own hands.
That's right. That is a big, huge step. Now, for people who are just wanting, like I've been getting more and more people saying, well, I don't really know much about that, but I want to get started. I'm just telling them, okay, go ahead and get an Endax account. Get a crypto.com account, get a KuCoin account. Have these exchanges on hand because you want to have more than one option to be trading in, because you don't want any one of those go down. That's it. So if you want to just quickly make some executions here, and over the next 2-3 weeks you want to work, you want to work in setting up that exit strategy, book some time with me. I've got the ability. I'm more than happy to meet with people about
So
this.
just in the time that you started, you mentioned KuCoin
Hmm.
to now, I'm verified. I'm in.
You're already
KuCoin.
verified on KuCoin.
Yeah.
Ha!
I just wanted to go
Nice.
through it as we,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
to
great.
say how, yeah, you need your passport. Um, I don't have a driver's license in Canada anymore, so I couldn't use that.
Okay.
But you can
Yeah.
use your driver's license, right? So, however you verify, they do have to verify your identity. And yeah, so I now can deposit and everything in KuCoin. So that's kind of how easy it is to get into Endax and KuCoin and those. You just have to make sure you identify yourself as a Canadian citizen.
Yep, that's right. That's all it boils down to. Just identify yourself with them. They're regulated, so how they handle fiat has to be regulated, and they got to register every one of those transactions with the person that's conducting those transactions. So yes, and that's good, because we need that bridge. We need to bridge from fiat to crypto, and those exchanges are specifically for that. And I'm encouraging people to get started, start getting some of the coins, attend these market analyses, or watch the replays, and then go and look inside your Endax and your KuCoin and Wealthsimple, whatever else, and look at which opportunities make sense for you. Do your own research. And again, if you need help, reach out to me. I put the little link there, manknownaspaul.com/connect. You can connect with me on Telegram there. I put some stuff into our group there, into Next Gen Merchants. On that page, you can also connect with me on social media. And then there's also a 2 links. You can book a coffee with me, like we can just do it online type thing, or we can do it in person. And so then you got those 2 options as well. Either way, you can connect with me there, and get set up however you want. Now, the last thing, I just want to give you one more example here of a connection with a wallet that I know works, so that the example actually does show how it works. This is another tool. This is called Dex Tools. This is a decentralized exchange. No ID necessary for you to connect. And you can see here that I've got this little tiny address right up there. That's actually my Ethereum wallet. And there's this disconnect. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect because it's just simply saving my preferences. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. So now I'm not connected.
That's DexTool.io.
DexTools.io. Yeah.
Okay, with an S. Okay, just
Yeah,
to make sure that I got the right one. Okay.
No problem. No problem. Good to clarify. So with Dex Tools, now I am not connected. So I can't make any trades. I can't execute anything because I don't have a wallet connected to it. So what I do is that I click the button there, Connect Wallet, and it says, well, which one do you want to connect? Well, I've got lots to pick from, depending on which one I want to use for trading. Typically speaking, I'm using MetaMask. So I go ahead, click the MetaMask. Now it says here, continue. Well, then I got a little tiny notification up on top, up there. You can see, you might be able to see it. Maybe if I can, I don't know, does this work when I zoom in on it? No, it's not. It's not zooming in on you. Okay, no. It only zooms in on my screen. But there's a way that I can zoom in on something. So it's not showing up. But there's a little tiny notification. So I click that notification. And it says, oh, look, Dex Tools wants to connect. Just like how we saw in the lace example. Dex Tools wants to connect. Are you sure? I say, yes, connect. And then it connects. Boom. Oh, look, more money. So then now my wallet's connected to Dex Tools. And within Dex Tools, I can say, well, what do I want to do? Here's a little swap, little screen here. So right inside, right inside the let's move it over a little bit. Right inside, and maybe I move myself over so that I can reach everything here. All right, so right inside here, I can already do a swap, just like I can inside Uniswap. I say, what do I got? Well, in this wallet here, I don't think I have any ARC. No. But I've got, what's the token? Let's say DSync, just as an example. There's Destra Network. Look, I've got a balance, and I can swap that for, let's just go to ARC for example. So I can say, let's put in 200 desync, and it comes up, oh, that'll get me 1090 ARC, and I can click approve. So right inside the trading platform, I can have control over the assets inside my wallet. This is right now the primary use of these wallets inside our browsers. Okay, right now it's to connect to decentralized apps. That's the purpose of all these wallets. Depending on the app, depending on what you want to accomplish, depending on the platform, they all have different options. Now this one here has a whole bunch because it's a pretty big network. With Cardano, it's a lot smaller. And so when you go to Cardano apps, there's usually only one or two options to connect. Nami, Lace, yeah, sometimes I've seen Yoroi. But the amount of apps that are available right now, most of them are on Ethereum. So we're seeing, we're seeing most of these wallets up here end up being used for trading. The key point and the future that we are witnessing unfold before our eyes is where the small business, local merchant, they are able to create websites with restricted content and make it where that restricted content, for the private members only, that restricted content is only visible after the smart contract is complete, meaning people connect their wallet to access your content, and in order for them to see that private content, they need to have proof of purchase inside their wallet. This is where the magic occurs, because now a business owner can start generating revenue with their website without having to have a merchant account with Stripe or PayPal or anything else. They have now a means to conduct trade with their audience without touching fiat currency. What does that mean? The implication is now you have no taxable income in Canada. That's the magic. Right now, what we're seeing is a bunch of people playing with all these tools, having great fun, hyping up some coins and making 20x. That's really all we have going on right now. There are applications where people are using it in the way that I've shown, but it's just simply not widely known yet because we haven't evolved into that. The reason why I know about it is because that's what I've made my life to be, is knowing where things are going to be 2, 3, 4 years from now. And so, yeah, that is.
Thanks, Paul. This is like good.
Yeah,
good information.
That's where we're headed. That's what this bubble is about. This bubble is about getting people connected online to these things here. Honestly, I'm telling you. And what we're likely to see is that cyber attack, false flag cyber attack, is going to get everybody in a tizzy. And they're going to have to come out with a great big solution to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. And I can guarantee you it's going to be a digital ID. And you're going to have to sign up for it in order to use your banking. Any of it.
That's what I don't want.
Yeah, nobody wants that. What kind of restriction? Like, why would anybody want to have those kinds of restrictions when I've just been showing you for the last half hour how little restriction you have over your over what you can do with your wealth? Why would anybody want those restrictions? Well, it's because they're scared. They're scared. No different than the reason why people signed up for all of the COVID restrictions. They were scared. They allowed themselves, willingly or unwillingly, they allowed themselves to be manipulated to the point where they were so scared they were willing to do anything to stop the threat. Well, the next threat that people can expect is a cyber attack, and I think it's going to be said to come from AI, possibly aliens. Jury's still out on that one.
Well, I got to run. Thank you.
That was fun. And
That's
I kind of
good.
like it. Every once in a while we should do that, where we don't just pour over charts, because really it gets pretty old, especially right now. We're seeing kind of that sideways action. So I'm glad we got to do this. There are a few days like this I would like to share, where we dive into some of the happenings and analyze what's happening at a greater level.
Great.
Thank you. Again, for anybody that's tuning in, thank you so much. Give us a like, smash that subscribe button so that you get notified whenever we go live here with our market analyses. And again, if you need any help with any of this setting up, or if you need, this is the thing, folks, is for whatever reason, I was placed on this planet specifically at this time to help people with the technical side of things. I actually made a small business in 2015, 16, 17. I made a small business helping seniors with their tech. It was as simple as, how do I send this picture to my son in the East Coast? And I would go to the old folks' home and help them send a photo by text to their relative. That was what I did as a business, because that's what I did. It was fun. I like teaching people how to do these things. And with what we have right now, beautiful opportunity, especially for that local business, that merchant that just wants to be entrepreneurial and make sure that whatever he creates doesn't get nabbed up by the Weffites and the Schwabateurs out there. They want to make sure that they safeguard their wealth. I'm your guy, because I know how to help a senior send a text to their relative on the East Coast. And I also one time did it, and 4 days later that same senior called me back and said, "Can you come back again and show me how to do it again?" Yeah, sure, no problem. Why? Because every time we did it together, he got more proficient, to the point now where he's asking me how to attach those photos to an email. Imagine that. So my patience for helping people get on board is pretty limited, or unlimited rather.
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to make sure that this becomes something that you're proficient in. And whether or not we make 10x or 20x or whatever, 5x, doesn't matter. This is a bubble. But it's the technology that we're adopting for the future, which allows that small business owner, that local merchant, to spend less time in front of these dumb screens.
It's
We're
the
not supposed to.
adaptability too. It's
Yeah.
the adaptability, right? Because we got to adapt to the trend that's happening at the moment.
That's
And
right.
yeah.
That's right. And really, that's what's going on. This trend, this digital trend, if we didn't want it, we should have done something about that in the 90s when the internet came available to everybody, right?
Shouldn't have put
That
a
would have been the
computer in your
time to
house.
stop it. Right. Yeah. We
It
have,
shouldn't have put a computer in your hand as you're walking around.
that's right. And we did. And it's not wrong. That's the thing, right? A lot of people think it's wrong that we did that. It's wrong that the world is going this direction. No, progress is not wrong. To say that this machine being able to do a bunch of our labor is wrong, that's, and I'm not kidding here. My grandparents told me a story when I was in my teen years. I got a TI-83, Texas Instrument calculator, for graphing, right? This thing was amazing. It was almost $100, and I was 14, 15 years old. Well, when I got that, my grandparents laughed. They said, "Oh my gosh, this reminds me." They didn't do the whole thing like some grandparents, right? It's like, "Oh, I remember when I went to school, walked uphill both ways through the sleet." You know, all that. Great. Good for you. My grandparents actually approached it a little bit differently. They reminisced about a story their grandparents told them. You ready for this? Their grandparents, late 1800s, in the schoolhouses that were first, in these settlements that we had across the land, in those schoolhouses, guess what got issued? And now all of the kids had this. Pencils. The kids had pencils. And the parents of the kids at the time went to the teachers and said, "Don't you dare let my kid use one of those pencils. I want them to know how to think." So when I had my Texas Instruments TI-83 computer in my hand, that I could graph my formulas. I could plot a graph with them, and I played for hours with that thing. And when my grandparents saw it, they were reminded of the story that their grandparents told them about pencils. And they marveled at how far the pencil had come. AI is going to make it where we do not have to spend as much time in front of these screens. None of these screens are healthy for us. We're finding out more and more that the blue light emanating from these screens and the ones in our palms of our hands, they're actually burning our retinas. They're actually degrading our retinas, and we're actually minimizing the band of frequencies that we can see. We're going blind with them. You know that back in the day, late 1300s, there was an invention. Late 1300s, there were still a lot of peasants that were, having to do some crazy work. And some of them, especially the ones that were of the least desirable demographic, they would throw down into mine shafts to haul water out of mine shafts so that they could continue mining operations in these shafts. Well, in the late 1300s, they built what was called the Miner's Friend. And it was actually the first steam engine ever. And this little steam engine, made of wood, by the way, this little steam engine boiled water, and the pistons ran and pumped the water out of the shafts. And the way people are talking about AI right now, oh, it's going to take over the world and it's going to make it where we don't, now nobody can get a job because, AI is replacing their jobs. It's like, we're not supposed to be working all the time. It's not what we're here to do. In fact,
those repetitive tasks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think the dishwasher was invented? It was so that we didn't have to wash dishes. A machine could do that work for us, right? So there in those mining shafts, the way people are talking now about AI, it sounds to me like when they're talking like that, in their state of fear, it sounds to me like if they lived in the late 1300s, that they would be, and they were one of the miners that would risk his life and limb to haul water out of one of those mine shafts, that they would say, oh my gosh, I think that steam engine is evil. Why? Because what am I going to do now? Like, I'm going to be worked out of a job. That's the quality of conversation that I perceive people having when they say AI is going to take my job. Yeah.
Great.
Imagine that. Like,
Please.
Why have you not signed up yet? No, obviously.
Exactly.
Do so prudently. But and that's another aspect in Next Gen Merchants. We want to show people how to privatize their data so that they can have an AI, and the AI generates these ones and zeros, because that's all it is. It's generating ones and zeros in a pattern to call data. That's your property. That's your property. Privatize it. Sure, you're having a machine make the property. That's the idea. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how we innovate. That's how we spend more time with our families. Rant over. Thanks everybody for joining today. And we'll see. Yeah, well, today's Thursday, so we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Take care.